1973 Ford F-100. Wow. This thing is in 1/18 scale. It's heavy diecast. Good, sharp detail on this. And body proportions are pretty darn good, too. We're going to look at this truck. Everybody likes these trucks, knows what they're supposed to look like. You know, big fans of people that like the F-Series. And this is the 6th generation Ford F-Series truck. It did come out in this body style in 1973, and this is a 73 model. This was an F-100 Ranger trim. And everything is really good on the truck. Wheels are really good. I like the size of the tires, actually. This represents half-ton two-wheel drive truck, so you're going to have smaller tires on this thing. It's going to sit low. Not that raked. It does have a standard long box on it, and it's got the 73 grill done really, really good. Love it. I like the early Ford grills on these trucks. It sort of changed it up from what they were doing on the previous gen that went up to 72 mid-year. So it's similar. It looks similar, but it's really a much different truck. Chassis was a carryover, sort of, and a lot of the drivetrains were as well. You know, you had inline 6 on this truck in North America. You had V8 small, medium, and large. They also debuted on this chassis. I think starting in 74, they started to do after the 3/4 ton. Now they have a 350. So they started doing those type of trucks. They knew that people were starting to carry serious loads for commercial and recreational use. You know, the big campers were coming out too, bigger and bigger, and everybody was digging that as well. Also, this truck in this 6th generation also debuted the space cab that they started doing. So, you know, extended cab trucks that we see today. This truck was doing a lot of stuff, and this was in the 70s. So 73, this platform, you know, also introduced the Bronco on the F-Series. So it's a pretty important F-Series truck to replicate. They've done these trucks in a lot of scales, but 6th generation Ford, not too much 118 if ever. There might have been a late one done. There were a lot of pressed steel old toy trucks that were kind of big scale. A lot of stuff, you know, back in the day with the farm equipment, they would do a lot of these type of trucks, but not like this. This is a proper 1/18 scale truck, and we're going to look at it. So box is cool, denotes the year. It's got some of that graphics that they've been doing, you know, with the Z28 and all that kind of stuff. They're trying to evoke that time frame in American history with those colors. This has Indiana tags. Now, some people might want to comment for me. I haven't lived in Indiana that long. I know that we've been running rear plates forever. They put 2 plates on it, same year and everything, so it's not like it's an old plate on the front that some people sometimes do. So it's got tags front and back, even though it's got Indiana registration. So there's the grill. Take a look at it. I'm going to lower it a little bit. A lot of times on these grills, everybody knows, you know, when you look at them, they're usually just painted in. All the B-body Plymouths and Dodges that I got, the Bel Air, not the Bel Air, your Impala, and your Biscayne, that's all painted grill. This one's an actual cast piece, and it's hollow. And then if you look back there, it's got a relief for, you know, the radiator and the core support and all that stuff. So looks good. The Ford is done really well. Of course, it was on top. It had the turn signals on top of the headlights, which is like kind of that theme that they switched up. I mean, I like this front end. I really do. It was a split grill. When this series body finally died out in the late 70s, they were doing that more famous grill that was one piece, and then the headlight buckets were separate on the side. But that lasted. You know, this thing was around for a while. Closed hood, but we got opening doors, and the tailgate operates, and we'll see that too. All right, so let's go around to the side. I'm going to flip the truck around. Take a look at this. So these wheels, plastic. This is rubber. This is plastic. It sits on there. It's chromed out nice. It's a darker finish, so it looks more like it's those spun alloy caps that would, you know, how they made cup caps back then. Still do, like, you know. It has a flatter finish, basically, you know. It's got the trim on the side. You know, Ranger trucks, they had a lot of equipment. Usually they had air conditioning, you know, power steering, brake. They have probably AM, FM radio. I mean, they had everything. Usually, they had a lot of stuff in them. You know, you could get the F series. You know, that's why everybody's because it's so popular. Because you could outfit it. You would have one vehicle. You didn't have to get a car. This is the two-tone option. When you look at the literature back then, you know how these trucks are painted. You see a lot of different ways. This was almost the most expensive way you could do it, because you could two-tone this truck by just doing, you know, a color here. You could paint the roof the same, or you could just paint the roof and then do the bottom of the truck. You know, there's all sorts of color combinations, and everything was custom back then. You know, you could order it this way. A lot of dealers, you know, whoever the new car manager was, you just order a bunch too that looked nice. But you could special order them a lot easier. It was a lot faster too. A lot of plants made this truck. So, again, they got all the trim. It is Ranger. I'm going to go on here real quick. See the Ranger? It's all tampoed very well. Let's take a look here. There we go. Doesn't like to focus as easily. Another star of the show is the depth of the bed and how they did the stamping for it. It's not like a cheap way. It doesn't look dumb. Doesn't look fake. A lot of guys, they'll skip on this part. And this is great. So you could see it. I can put my finger under there. This is all cast. It has that depth that you're looking for when you see a truck bed. And it has this kind of panel, and I can't remember if they had a seam weld here or at the bottom, but you know, it really doesn't matter. It looks good. And then you have this part is plastic. It's like a tub that fits in here. This is all metal. And then underneath, you'll see how it joins. And actually, they spent the time, you know, they've been making those big slab type chassis for these cars, but this one has some of that element to it, but the other part on the back, it does have a separate frame and axle and everything. So when I flip it over, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's kind of cool. You can take the bed off separately. It's not cast as the same thing, so that's really exciting. I mean, if you want to buy this truck and customize it, it'll be fun. Matter of fact, lowering it or putting rims on it, I mean, you could do all sorts of stuff with this thing. Probably get another one, obviously. So I'm sure there's going to be one I'll collect. The other good thing, good thing about this truck, I know the hood doesn't open, but what I like about it is the way they molded the tailgate. The tailgate is not two pieces, it's one solid piece of metal, which is really cool. So that I thought was nice. It was a nice addition. And Ford is cast. That's all cast. This is all a relief. So when you look at this and you touch it, it's not a sticker, it's not any of that stuff. This is all cast, and then they paint it. So it's really neat. The whole thing was done very delicately, but it's thick and it's got a lot of depth to it. You can see the depth right there of how far it goes in. Got a bumper on it. Let me fix the paper real quick. There we go. Bumper's cool. Back then, again, I don't know if maybe some bumpers that usually didn't come on trucks. A lot of it was like something the dealer did, or you bought one. I don't know. So it wasn't always put on by the factory. And sometimes they look generic like this. It wouldn't say Ford. And you'd see sometimes the same bumper on every truck. Yep. I thought that was interesting. A single window back there wasn't a slider. I don't know if they had sliders back then. I think they did. Alright, so we'll get into the inside and we'll flip her over. It does have dual camper mirrors on it. So it's got like a tow mirror setup, sort of. Stick out a little bit. door hinge is nice. I'm going to do this again. So you can see how it swings out. It goes into the body line like it should. It's not a dog leg hinge. Depth on the seat's nice on it too. This is just a simple black interior. It's got roll down windows. Dashboard's painted to match the paint job. It's got that early Ford dash done really good. So it has 2-spoke wheel on the Ford as well. So that's all correct. It's got that square gauge that the Ford had on it. And then it also denotes Ranger on, I think, on the glove box. Yeah, so part of the Ranger trim. You got a gussied up interior. And we'll open up this side so you can see. The only thing about this, they made the steering wheel big again. I don't know why that happens, but I guess it looks good on camera. I mean, it's not. It's just like one side's just a little too big, but it still looks good. Look how thin it is, just like it was back in the day. And you got your huge pedals. You can see that. Yeah. So you can kind of get the idea. They did a good job. Windows are on. They're up. They didn't do the thing where they're open. So again, this is a heavy vehicle, and you don't want to pick the truck up by the cab. See how thin those are? So watch yourself. So definitely pick it up over here, I'd suggest. It is a long old girl, as you can see. But it rolls good too. Another hallmark, I think, Greenlight. They just make a nice vehicle. It doesn't have steering, but I think I got a lot of more detail. And to the thing about steering, I want to take a second about this. Look how the wheels sit when you have an axle. They're going to be true. A lot of the cars that have steering have cars that don't have solid axles, and the wheels sit all crooked a lot of the times. So you kind of get a trade-off. I understand. But when are you really steering the wheels? I guess you can pose the car with the wheels turned, and I get that. That does look good. But if you look at it this way, the wheels are straight and true. So I know even though the wheels aren't turned, the car actually looks very good. It looks correct to me. So that's my trade-off. I like them either way. If it had turning wheels, it wouldn't bother me because I like the car anyway. But I think there's a thing to be said, and it's a little bit more durable, I'd say. It's not going to bust off. Definitely the weight of the truck would break a wheel, though, if it fell out of your hand. So don't let it drop. I'm going to turn this over. I've got to be careful of that mirror on the side, but it'll hold the truck up. So, licensed product from Ford, and then you got your Greenlight product information there. You got your single exhaust, which is kind of funny how it terminates. I thought it went to the side, but I don't know. So that's what I'm talking about. You got a separate chassis. You could see how it separates off there. And you got a separate rear drive there. So that's good. There's your leaf spring. There's your front suspension. This is more typical of Greenlight, of course, but that's fine. These tires was good. They recycled these off of the Biscayne and Impala cars they've been producing. So this tire actually looks really good because it's a square shouldered tire. And as you can see there, when it's in the light, it fills out the wheel well real well. Do the same for the back. You can see back spacing is done good too. I like how the fenders are sitting over the wheels. That looks very good. 10 is loose, but it's not broken. It just, they didn't glue it, which is fine because then it doesn't get broken if someone hits it. All right, so Ford F-100. I could talk about this thing forever. It ushered in a new era for Ford and their trucks. I love this thing, obviously. I got the two-tone one first. They are available in white. That is coming, and then a whole black one. Probably get the white one if I had to, just to customize that. But I like this one. It looks very correct. It looks very stock. It looks like something in 73 that Ford would have out there. Someone driving. I just love it. Wheels are perfect. Doesn't need anything done to it. Highly recommend this. There's the box. Cool box. Ford licensing. I had a funny comment on the front too. If you might know, it says it contains one car. So just in case you think there's another one of these behind it in the box, in the same box, it's telling you it only has one. So don't get angry if there's only one. All right, Greenlight. There's your information. Let me see if it'll focus. Here we go. Yeah, sort of. You know what I'm talking about. Okay, so, and then I think they have something in the back. Yep. The good old sales line. Perfect. Works like a truck, rides like a car. You know, better ideas. That's when their old better ideas was going down. Used to have that little light bulb going off. There's the Ford there with the graphics, and this thing, I'm telling you, it's awesome. This thing is going to probably sell like hotcakes. Good price point, beautiful truck. Mine came in like mint condition. The guy sent it the real packaged, I would say, perfectly. Awesome truck. Highly recommend it. Till next time.